Yeah. Live and direct from the new planet Earth, where pandemics are plenty, but the girls are still pretty in fashionable dresses. You know what I'm talking about. Where ignorance is bliss, and you ain't gotta give a about no code.
Tell me who unleashed our animal instinct. Why the op standing there tickle pink? Have a drink, no more liquor. Got a poison. One thicker, one gangster, one hole in the desert for the snitch. What happened to the cold? What's this?
Welcome back into the Franchise Podcast, guys. I'm back.
Oh, wow.
Did you guys miss me?
My goodness.
First of all, okay, actually, we're back, but, you know, I was not there. Let's first address last week, okay?
How was the Bubbles convention? Good. How was it?
Y'all, these men, specifically TQ, want to start rumors about me, and let's just know, they're not about to know a thing about my love life. Okay, thank you very much.
Just trying to inform the public, man. When they don't see Nye, they get into an uproar. So I gotta let y'all know what's going on. I ain't even tell everybody your business. Love you to death.
Oh.
But you know, they say the Tender Cruise is determined.
You know what?
She looked awfully tan today.
First of all, he don't want me to tell any of y'all about his love life.
You always try to tell them about my love life.
Let's just keep it on the down low. Thank you. I'm your host, Nyshawn Zaragoza. This is Nosy TQ. And I'll say, I usually call him Joe Cap a lot because he be big capping, but I'm gonna call you, he's a chill Joe today, and I'm feeling this.
Appreciate that.
All right, guys, let's dive right into it. We're going to be talking all about the Las Vegas Raiders because they're the topic of this story right now. They have the biggest storylines going out. And Joe, I want to start with you. Over the course of the weekend, we have seen the Raiders, over the course of the 2 weeks, play in 2 preseason games. AP, Tom Telesco came out. They have officially decided on their starting quarterback, Gardner Minshew. And Joe, of course, I want to lead off with you. You guys spent a couple days in Costa Mesa. You guys seen the AOC Gardner Minshew battle out. Were you surprised by this starting position pick?
No, was not surprised at all. TQ and I talked about it at Costa Mesa. We talked about it at the game Saturday. Gardner Minshew has been the more consistent out of the 2 inconsistent quarterbacks. That's the best way to put it. For me, it really wasn't really a competition because when you pay someone $15 million, your starting quarterback's making between $1 and $2 million. There's a financial aspect to it. You look at AP said the first full quarter of the season, well, you play 3 out of 4 really good defensive teams. You open up with the Chargers, then you have Baltimore, and then it's the Panthers, and then Cleveland. You want a quarterback that can get out and maneuver and run around and make plays. That fits Minshew a little bit more. Plus, that could really hurt AOC's confidence. And quite frankly, there's more big plays with Gardner Minshew at quarterback than Aiden O'Connell. Look at the few plays that Trey Tucker made, who we'll talk about camp later, what we see from Tucker. It just seemed like the offense had a little more juice with Gardner Minshew. So no, I wasn't surprised by it. I was surprised about the timing coming out Sunday morning. I thought he would have waited until Monday, but overall, I wasn't surprised, and I'm interested to see where this goes going forward.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've had the same issues from day one with these 2 quarterbacks. I mean, when they picked to go with AOC all season last season, I was like, I feel like, look, it's no knock to him, right? I feel like he's supposed to be in the NFL. I believe that he's a serviceable backup quarterback, which is a huge need in today's NFL. That being said, looking at the Raiders offense and the players that we have signed on offense, neither one of these guys are the guys that we need. Their skill set does not match our skilled players. You look at our receiving core, I want to say that the rookie, our tight end, came out of college running a faster 40 than both our receivers, if I'm not mistaken. I think that we have our receivers is not about speed, it's about the ability to create separation by running perfect routes. If you're gonna run perfect routes, you need an accurate quarterback that's gonna put the ball in a place, on a field, at a certain time. We don't have that. Our quarterbacks came from Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. One of them thought they was getting, I'm not gonna say the same quarterback, but the same kind of quarterback with a similar skill set. I'm not comparing Derek Carr to Aaron Rodgers.
Thank God.
But he's much closer to Aaron Rodgers than any quarterback that we have on the roster right now.
Facts.
I don't mean to take a whole lot of time here, but damn it, I got some shit to say.
You mentioned that you felt that it was too early to pick a starter.
No, the announcement.
The announcement.
The announcement, I was surprised that
Why?
he announced it Sunday morning because it was less than 12 hours after the game that we were at. And he didn't.
But don't you think that throughout the course of the entire month of training camp, leading into preseason, which technically is still a part of training camp, is enough to see what they're both bringing to the table?
100%. I thought he could know on Saturday night. Like, I believe this. I believe that he's seen enough in practice where the days that we were there and then talking with people that were there the entire time, like, our cohorts, that people know who's friends of the franchise are, there was like Gardner Minshew stacked in 3 really good days, and then AOC would have a good day. And then it was 2 more good days from Minshew, and then 1 by AOC. When we were down there, 2 out of 3 days, it was Gardner Minshew, with the middle day being Aiden O'Connell's day. He had a better day. So that's what I'm saying. He was the more consistent of the inconsistent quarterbacks. Plus, we don't know what's going on in the meeting room. So when in the quarterback meeting room and in the offensive team room, there's conversations going on. Maybe Gardner Minshew's got a better grasp of the offense and what to do and having different ideas than Aiden O'Connell. At the end of the day, like, there's a reason why AP chose him. It was, and if we really want to take it to the grainier level, going into this, AOC was the starter. That's what was said. He lost the starting job to Gardner Minshew. Besides the fact, okay, they each averaged, AOC averaged 14 and a half passes per game. Gardner Minshew 16 and a half for this preseason. Gardner Minshew threw for more yards at a lower completion percentage. I think it was 72 to 48, but also didn't turn the ball over. I think it goes back to the game on Saturday night.
Yeah.
2 plays in particular stand out. One, third down and 3. O'Connell overthrows Wilkerson by at least 4 yards over his head. That would have kept the play moving. But the biggest and most egregious play of the game for me was coming out of the second half, you get the ball and you stare down the backup tight end and you throw a pick 6.
Yeah.
Like, to me, at that point, it was over. And
I can't listen to this no more.
Which that did
Why?
catch
Am
me
I
off
wrong?
guard.
Yes.
That did catch me off guard.
How am I
Yes,
wrong?
you're wrong. Because the Cowboys didn't catch the 2 interceptions that Gardner Minshew threw. They dropped the ball. They did not catch the ball.
So?
What do you mean so?
They didn't catch it.
would've-
They weren't turnovers.
Well, it would have been a turnover if they would have been ones.
And if we had
They
different
did-
chromosomes, we wouldn't be men.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about facts right here. The facts is they were playing against 2s. Throwing interceptions against 2s. I don't want to talk about mediocrity. Raider Nation don't want to hear about mediocrity. And that's what we have at the quarterback position. Back to what I was saying earlier. This team is a player away from a playoff contender and 2 players away from Super Bowl contenders. You know what those players are? You let them go for the last 2 seasons in a row for free. You got nothing in return. You trying to tell me that Derek Carr is not better than Gardner Minshew?
No, he's a better
Derek Carr
quarterback right now.
is not better than AOC?
Yes, he
well,
is.
why is he not playing for the Raiders? Why? Explain. Do you feel better about turning the ball, handing the ball off to the room that we have right now, running backs, or do you feel better about handing the ball off to Josh Jacobs? It's a simple yes or no question.
Josh Jacobs, 100%.
Okay, you said 100% to the 2 players.
No, to Josh Jacobs.
That we need. No, I just asked you questions about who's a better. I'm gonna ask again. You just talked for 20 minutes. Now let me do me, please. Thank you very much. I have a question for you. Who's a better quarterback between Derek Carr and Gardner Minshew? Derek Carr. Who's a better quarterback between AOC and Gardner Minshew? You just said it already. We can rewind the tape if you want.
No, that's fine.
Derek Carr. My point is this. I'm not trying to cry over spilled milk, but you didn't get anything back for either of those players. And from what I've seen through training camp and through the preseason, those are the two big spots where the Raiders need help. That bothers me as a fan. I'm not talking as a newsman. I'm not talking as a media member. That bothers me as a fan. So what I would like to say to the rest of Raider Nation, I don't think it's about expecting too much this season. I think it's about trying to make sure that neither one of these guys get what I feel is one of the best wide receiver and tight end rooms in this league hurt, because that's what they do. Quarterbacks that are not accurate, that are trying to get the ball to great route runners, you know what they do to those route runners? They get them hurt. That's what I'm afraid of with these two quarterbacks. That was my problem last year with this squad. That's my problem this year with this squad. When Jimmy G came in, I said he's going to be hanging these guys out to dry. We don't have the big physical running back type wide receivers that the 49ers have. They didn't need accuracy over there because everybody's a freakish athlete. Over here, with the Raiders, it's a system. The system goes on timing. I understand Luke Getsy is coming from mobile quarterbacks. He don't have one right now. You know what wasn't at those mobile quarterbacks with him? Route runners. What we have is route runners. Can you imagine Derek Carr in this offense with them two tight ends on the field? Carve them up city. So that bothers me, the fact that we go out and build a Derek Carr type team after we let Derek Carr go. When you let Derek Carr go and you don't have that type of quarterback and you want to go get a gunslinger, get him gunslinger type weapons. That ain't the type of team this is. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm talking about fit. These quarterbacks do not fit this scheme or this offense or these players, in my opinion. And I feel like Raider Nation is going to suffer for that this season.
Since we can't go in the past, right? Like, we all have our opinions on what could have happened or what should have happened. But now that we have Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, Joe already said who he would have chosen. Who would have you chosen?
I don't care. I never cared. I could care
And
less.
you felt that it should have
matter.
been Aiden O'Connell.
No, I felt it should have been Gardner Minshew.
Okay, so when this all first started going on, we all were talking about, you don't sign a backup quarterback for 2 years, $25 million, and not start him, right? The moral of the story is they're both going to play. Gardner Minshew's going to make his mistakes. Aiden O'Connell's going to get his starts. And I really think it's going to be like an equal type of thing. I don't know if any of them are going to outshine either. But tell me this, because there's so many storylines around Gardner Minshew. He played with the Colts last year because Anthony Richardson got hurt. He played, I think after week 5, it was 13 games. His completion percentage was 62%, threw for over 3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, or 15 pass touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. So tell me this, if he can take the Colts as far as he did and get knocked out by the Texans, do you not think that he can take the Raiders that far?
No, I think that, my nephew played with him at Washington State. And when he first signed, I called my nephew Isaiah Love and was like, hey, Zilla, what's he like? What do you see? He's like, he's going to be a rah-rah guy in practice, but when he gets on the field in the game and the lights are on, that's when you're going to see what he can do. My nephew, again, he played with him for a bit at Wazoo. So I'm reserving any judgment for what he does on the field to when it counts in the regular season. Now, what I will say is I think that, to answer your question, what can he do with the talent on this team? I'm hoping that with more offensive weapons, especially at the receiver and tight end positions than what was in Indianapolis. Running back-wise, Indy has a way better room with Taylor back there. But I think he could do a little bit more. And my biggest concern with Minshew is I think he has 31 career fumbles because he gets out and run. And that was a knock on Derek Carr. If you want to go back to that, he fumbled the ball an awful lot. So for me, again, I look at Minshew as he's a poor man's Baker Mayfield, and it just comes down to fit. If this is a good fit for him offensively, he could put up some good numbers like he did at Washington State. He's never really had the chance to have his own team. He goes to Jacksonville. They draft Trevor Lawrence the next year.
Yep.
He's not going to play. He gets traded to Philadelphia. He's backing up Jalen Hurts. He goes to Indy. They draft Anthony Richardson.
Why?
After he didn't even play in Indy before that.
Why?
Because they feel he's a guy that is capable to come in and win games for them should a quarterback go down.
He's a backup. We have 2 backups. The Raiders have 2 backups. We have one thing to look forward to. One thing. Colton Miller has not played yet.
He got off PUP on Tuesday. So he's practicing Tuesday, and he should be ready to go for the season.
That's a pretty damn good left tackle. So it should provide a little more time, though these guys struggled against twos, mightily struggled against twos. I mean, and my thing is...
That was frustrating.
Boy, when they make a mistake, it is a terrible, egregious mistake. It is the worst. It is a pass where you're scratching your head like, what was he thinking about right then? And I saw it twice with Gardner Minshew. I saw it, I think, 3 times with AOC. Though in the Dallas game, I feel like AOC had the better game. But it's just, man, these are the types of mistake makers that are going to that have the potential. I don't want to just doom and gloom everything. You never know what could happen with the NFL. But they have the potential to drive Allegiant Stadium crazy on Sundays.
You know, potential, you bring up potential, right? And I know at some point we'll talk about sleepers. But Bradley, the South Alabama quarterback, got potential.
Yeah.
We were watching him slang that bitch at practice, and he looked good.
Yeah,
and
he was.
And I would like to see
I didn't know that was Gus Bradley's son.
Is that?
Yeah.
That's right, it is.
I did not know that.
And the depth chart came out Monday, and I was on Hammer's house, and when the depth chart got released, he was 3rd over Peter, man.
Yeah.
So,
Thank God.
I'm just saying.
Jeez.
So, flashbacks?
Man, bro.
Stop it.
My goodness. Some of
You know,
these
whooping.
QBs, man, I can't escape them. Like, my goodness.
So, this past weekend, Raider Nation from all over the world, we were in our emotions. And I'm not just going to say everybody else because I was too, right? And you don't want to you don't want to just jump ahead because there's so much to be frustrated about. But you also have to understand, it's backups going out. The defense had their problems as well. Couldn't stop the run. Like, does Raider Nation have a right to continue to feel this way? Or do you guys truly think, Joe, I'm going to let you go first, that it's too early, let's not get nervous, let's just see how this plays out? AP continuously talks about culture and leadership, and what I always say is, like, I'm tired of hearing about it because I just need to see us win games.
They have every right to feel how they want to feel. I'll never tell someone how to fan. If you want to be worried about it, go right ahead. You have that right. I tend to look at things in quarters for the NFL season. The first 4 weeks, it's kind of like, let's get a feeling out process, but those middle 8 weeks, that's when you see teams separate, and in those weeks, that's when I would get worried if they're having a rough season. Somebody told me they're just praying that they make it through Thanksgiving, and they can because they said that it would be a massive headache for them and what they do if they don't. At the same time, I do believe that this Raiders team has the potential to do really well. I said it last week on the show. I've said it on the shows I was on over the weekend and in this week that I think if the Raiders start off fast, I think they're in the business of looking for a veteran quarterback to be traded for to come in and kind of take that next step. I also think that if they get off to a really bad start, they could sell probably the Devontae Adams is a guy that I would think that they would look to deal, which I don't think they should, but I think they would leave that up to Tay to make that decision if he wants to stay or go and maybe go to a contending team like the 49ers or maybe go to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Give them a choice of the two. But overall, like I think fans can feel the way they want to feel. I'm not going to tell someone how to fan. I have.
You better not tell nobody.
Like I look at my big brother and he is the way he is. And I've talked to you. Look at Hammer. Hammer's like, no, I think we got a chance to really do some damage. And I was talking with Thor last night from the Raider Nation drinking podcast, and Thor was like, he thinks they can win 12 games. So I mean, it just depends on who you
y'all
are.
drank? at this point.
I had a beer on the show. I don't know what Thor drank, but Thor, it's Thor.
I
know
don't
Thor.
believe in you.
Man, look, man. all of the happy, joy stuff, yeah, that's all cool, fine and dandy. I always say the same thing. Who else has to deal with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert twice every year? It's us. It's Denver. Listen, that's not easy to do, man. And if you think you're gonna do it without a quarterback, I got another thing for you. It's just not gonna happen. What I see is, I think the defensive struggles in the preseason games, I think it's an anomaly because I don't think they're doing anything. Mm-hmm. They're not showing anybody anything. We just came from training camp. I saw a lot more at training camp than I saw in any of the games.
Exactly.
Right? So I do not feel bad about the defense. There's a member of the defense that I'm asking my questions about, and I don't understand that at all.
Let's save that. Let's save that.
Yeah? Oh,
all right. All right. Well, let me get to this.
Get it out, brother.
What I worry about is having a dominant defense in the AFC West, but still losing games because they spend too much time on the field.
Even with their depth?
Even with their depth. Because after a while, morale starts to go down on the sideline. I'm a cameraman. I'm next to the damn bench, man. I see when the eyes start rolling. I see when guys start looking off, thinking about what shoes they gonna go buy after the game or whatever else, right?
So we saying speed up rotation.
It's not necessarily that. It's just the oomph comes out of you in the third quarter when you done played your heart out and your offense is turning the ball over. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that can take from a great defensive unit, which I believe that the Raiders are building for the first time. I'm so happy that, we got levels of good players on defense. But in today's NFL, man, I don't know if Raiders have always just needed a defense that wasn't at the bottom, right? We've always been able to score some points. The Raiders have had their problems in the red zone or whatever, but they always have some speed on offense. They always are able to score some points, and the defense would never give them any help. Now it's just flip-flop. It's like Bishop Gorman. Mm-hmm. It's like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? The offense is out the door. The defense is great. And, for the first time in my life, I'm looking at the NFL a little bit different. I do believe the defenses win championships, but you got to at least be able to move the ball up and down the field on offense and take care of it. I don't believe we had an offense that's going to be able to do that this year.
All right, guys, we're going to continue on that. We're going to just take a quick break. Stay tuned, because when we get back, we're going to be talking about expectations for the season, sleeper players. I want to hear what he got to say for that. Sleeper players to keep an eye on, and then any surprise cuts as well.
This section was brought to you by Coldwell Banker Premier Realty. Coldwell Banker is a service-driven, highly productive team of professional sales and support people who are dedicated to consistently providing superior real estate brokerage and related services, setting the industry standard of value and excellence.
Welcome back into the Franchise Podcast. We're going to continue this Raider discussion. Tiki, I'm going to start off with you. You kind of touched base on it on last segment, but I really want you to go in detail. Or what are your clear expectations for the Las Vegas Raiders this season?
I'm not expecting much. I don't want any major injuries to any of these.
Well, that was a way to open that.
I mean, hey, man, I'm just saying, look, I hope they prove me wrong, but I'm not as optimistic as I normally am this time of year.
He's not as optimistic because he's a 49ers fan.
Well, we call it what you want. I like them both. Love the Niners.
When you got a team to be optimistic about.
Always have, always will. Two-Team Terry, that's my name. Trish, you can go ahead and find one of the little things right here. Two-Team Terry.
Yeah. Two-Team Terry.
You can put Bang Bang and Just Win Baby at the same time. Love it. And we playing each other Friday. And I'm shooting the game. I got all kinds of shenanigans going on. Because, hey, It's TQ Day in Las Vegas once again. That being said, I believe that Jack Jones is going to be a formidable CB1 in the AFC. I expect a Pro Bowl type season from him. My biggest worry or my biggest issue on defense is if Tyree Wilson could just be a piece, a small part of what they drafted him to be. Boy.
Getting off that edge
Just
was like,
puts
I
the-
felt like he was a turtle.
My goodness.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's like he's riding a tricycle.
You pointed something out the game, though. People didn't realize it. You were saying that a lot of his get off, his first step was backwards.
Yes. He came into camp last year with a foot issue. I'm wondering, has it healed completely? Because there's just some kind of uncertainty that I detect in him. He reminds me of somebody who's played on the left side his whole life, and now they moved to the right side, and they're trying to get acclimated to playing the opposite way, right? I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, but something has changed between his film in college and what we're seeing from him right now. For him to be that big, that strong and massive looking, like he looks like a Raider.
He reminds me, I said it to you Saturday night at the game, he reminds me of Sean Jones, former Raider, Oiler, and Packer.
Exactly, agreed.
6'8", long arms, and Sean.
I don't even think, because of the depth at the position or along the line, he don't even have to show first pick talent, first round pick talent.
Not this year.
He don't have to do that this year.
Next year.
He's got to do more than what we've seen him do so far. It's just frustrating, man, because to me, that's supposed to be a strong part of the defense. Him being able to rotate in, play multiple positions on the defensive line, is just like I was talking about the other way around. Like, that type of heat coming at you constantly. Max Crosby, Kuntz, Christian Wilkins, like that gets into your head as a quarterback, as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive lineman. Come the third quarter and these dudes just been eating you up constantly, it breaks your will. So the fact that I've been so happy and I've been calling for it for years, look, platoon the defensive line, go 2-3 levels deep, and it seems like they've been doing it. But he got to step up, man. Whatever the problem is with him, I hope that it's over quickly.
But can I give you guys this before you go, Joe? Tyree Wilson had an injury last year. He's now expected to perform really well. He's been training with Max Crosby this offseason, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that it should be more of like giving him a chance? It's preseason, okay, we want to see something, but you know, you're a little rusty. You haven't played. And you know what I really felt like messed the Raiders up is not having a joint practice with another team. Going up against your own teammates in scrimmaging, like, what was it, the last few practices when they were getting in arguments, and that didn't happen for the full weeks that they were even in Costa Mesa. That's what frustrated me. Y'all need to be having joint practices.
Max acted up a little bit
Y'all
towards the end.
need to have joint practices with other teams to see how it feels. Y'all have been off an entire offseason, going up against each other's offenses and defenses and letting that rust out there. Because now we're seeing, I didn't go to any training camp. Most of Raider Nation, we're seeing everything on social media. So finally, these preseasons is where we're seeing the action happen.
I don't think I would have had a joint practice this year, though. Not with this quarterback room. I wouldn't have did it.
I would have.
Nah.
It's more than just the quarterback, though.
Yeah, but you letting a lot of your information out. Like, you're playing against another team that has the same type of experts that you have in the positions that you have them in, running that team.
But you don't have to let
coaching,
everything
GM,
out,
and everything
though.
else.
Just like with
But a person
preseason.
can see, a person can hear, a person can see when you're out in those type of close quarters.
Okay.
I just wouldn't have been comfortable. I just feel like there was a bit of uncertainty there about the connection between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback room. At least that's what I would have did if I was in that position. I would have said, if we go back to that next year, let's figure this out amongst ourselves.
I like that part with the quarterback. You're right.
I think the thing that it just goes to practices, right? We are talking about practice.
For sure.
There were times where defensive players put hands on the quarterback. I'm not going to say who. I would like to have seen the offensive linemen scuffle with them. Like, no matter what, even if the two quarterbacks may be 32 and 33 in the league, they're still your starting quarterback, and you have to rally around them. I think it happened with Max last week at practice with the backup center, and they started chunking him. I think Max respected him for that. Somebody finally stepped up, and I think there needs to be more of that.
A lot of your step-up guys was missing, though. Colton wasn't there. The new kid.
He was back at practice that day. JPJ was back.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was back last Tuesday, the first one at Allegiant Stadium.
Okay.
He was there.
Right.
I just think that there needed to be more.
I'm talking about in Costa Mesa. In Costa Mesa, Max was cutting up. Max was trying to knock people's heads off. And nobody had nothing to say about it. They was quietly walking back because it wasn't no enforcer there on offense. There are no enforcers on offense.
And the one person I would have was making sure his son was born okay, which is perfectly understandable.
There it is.
As far as on the field, it's something that I would have liked player. I look at, and it's low hanging fruit, to be honest. But Jacorian Bennett, he looked amazing in camp. He's looking good in games. He seems to you pointed it out, Squeeze, that seems like the veterans are respecting him and what he's doing. He has all the traits you would look for in a lockdown corner in terms of length, speed, the way his jamming. He's not as grabby as he once was last year. And
definitely looked like he's turning the corner.
And I think Dakarion Richardson as well.
Yeah,
he's
I
another
didn't know
one.
he was that fast.
To your point to that, he tested, I think his combine numbers were at or near the top of any quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because when I was doing mock drafts, I was mocking him it was 4th, 5th round, even though he went in the 3rd. I'm like, his numbers are crazy. He fits what a Raider would, traditionally look like. Yeah. So I think that cornerback room is going to be a lot better than what people want to give him credit for.
I agree.
If there's something that, to me...
Safeties, too.
Yeah, the whole defensive backfield.
Yeah.
And if there's something that has maybe cause for concern for me, I would have to say for me and I know it's only 2 preseason games and they were just playing really vanilla, but the way teams are able to run the ball on the defensive line, like they were able to run the ball up and down on the Raiders, even the Cowboys twos. And the thing I didn't understand from a coaching aspect, and I couldn't tell if it was schematic or if it was just the end just crashing when the Cowboys were running Zoe Reed. Now, if that's the case, if your end is crashing, your linebacker is supposed to spill down to contain. And the linebacker wasn't doing it, and it was Wilson that was crashing, and Trey Lance was just running right off his backside.
But I hear what you're saying. We saw that in the games. We didn't see that at practice.
No, we didn't.
So
then that poses this question. It's a lot like UNLV up until last year. The defense looked good, and the offense looked, defense looks good. Was it the defense looking good or the offense looking bad?
Yeah, good point.
That's...
I mean, schematically, though, I saw more things happening naturally from the defense in practice. I saw nothing happening from the defense in the games, and I think some of that's purposely.
No,
so I don't feel. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the Raiders are going to have the best defense we've had in years and years and years. I don't look at the defense based on what I've seen in training camp and the preseason like I look at the offense. When I look at the offense, I'm worried. When I look at the defense, I say they can win a couple of games.
Okay, and tell me the reasons why you're worried about the offense. Is it solely the quarterback?
Quarterback room. I don't know.
We feel good about the line.
I think the line is going to be okay. I think they'll be serviceable. I love the rookie. I love his strength. And
I love that he's with Richie Incognito, the whole offensive line at camp. That's a hell of a job by AP to bring him back.
That was great. I feel like they're going to turn another corner because they got better towards the end of the year last year. Added some better pieces. What's the other kid?
DJ Glaze. Yep.
He's a player.
Yep.
So I feel all right about them. I do not question Zamir White being a good running back, I believe that he is. I don't know if he's capable of a Josh Jacobs type workload. I'm not sure that he's gonna have to be capable of a Josh Jacobs type workload. But, I'm just kind of I feel a little bit worse about that room after training camp than I did before training camp. But
So quarterbacks and running backs.
quarterbacks and running backs, I feel are, that's going to be a soft spot for us. Hopefully I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not wishing for this. I'm just saying what I'm looking at.
I feel like Zamir White's going to have, granted, I just feel like Zamir White's going to have a lot on his back. I really do. Derek Carr was more of a passing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Gardner Minshew and them, granted they have Brock Bowers and they have Michael Mayer, they have Devontae Adams, but that run game especially is going to be prominent in this Raiders offense for me to win games, because the way that AOC and Gardner Minshew were playing, granted it's a preseason game, I'm not going to judge too much, but from what I was seeing, just get the ball down the field. Besides that one pass, it was what was the
47-yarder to Minshew
Exactly.
to Tucker. You teed me up for that, right? Thank you. Let's remember how AP won his Super Bowls. Good defense, great defense, tough defense, a good running game, and an offense that had a good quarterback, turned the ball over a lot, but they controlled the tempo of the game. Defense won them the Super Bowls. So this Raiders team is built a lot like that in AP's image. They're taking on his personality, which is what you want to see at this point in camp. So for me, I think the Raiders are trending in a all right direction. Look, this is a season, quite honestly, where it could go one of two ways. It could be a season where it goes off the rails really quick and it's a big shit show, or it could go into they're actually going to surprise some people and win some games and get to the next level, or the next season, which is the playoffs.
I mean, look, you speak about AP's championships, and I love the way the Giants won those championships. That's the way that I believe you win championships. You go 2.5 layers deep on the defensive line, where you can just bring them back with fresh legs in the fourth quarter.
Because they finally have depth.
I agree. That was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. The game has changed. I'm happy that AP has been able to change with it. He went down to high school. He went down to college to learn the new player, right? It's not what it used to be, man. Sorry, I'm emotional today. I'm upset, all right? I've been sitting on this, and I just gotta let it out. You let Josh McDaniels come in here with this Bill Belichick shit, it don't work no more, man. It ain't, Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick, AP back in those days, you know who they would have been great coaches of?
Who?
Me and you. The Willie McGinnises of the world, the Teddy Bruschi's and the Rodney Harrisons, 40-year-olds. Why? It was a totally different generation. We didn't know nothing about our mental health. We was running around crazy. We didn't know nothing. We didn't know we were crazy. We didn't have a clue. Our coaches used to bite our heads off. How many names your coach used to call you?
I thought my name was you little mother, the whole.
Bruh. Right or wrong?
100%.
All right. It don't work no more, man. That doesn't work no more. This is a whole new NFL. It's a whole new player. It starts in high school. You have to understand what a player is now as opposed to what a player was then. I think AP understands that. I'm watching him coach up close and personal without having to worry about a camera for the first time. When, once the shooting period is over, we can just stay there and kind of watch what's going on.
It's kind of nice, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would have expected him to be more of a rah-rah guy. He's become a teacher, man.
Do you know who on that staff I think is a future head coach and happened right in front of us? the homie GA, Gerald Alexander, the safety coach. Remember when he pulled Epps aside and broke something down about how to play the safety position and what leverage he should have and what phase based off the quarterback's arm strength. He named some specific names we're not going to name on the show. That to me is one of the reasons why I think the Raiders will be successful, because their coaching staff, they got a damn good coaching staff.
Great coaching staff. And that's why I'm not as down on that running back room as I am on the quarterback room. They driving that Cadillac, man. I was happy to see that, man. Man, listen, what we can take from this team is what you said. There has been a total upgrade on the coaching staff. I believe they have one of the best coaching staffs in the league. And I just hope that the organization will have patience with this staff. I feel like they're building a culture that can last from this point going forward. Maybe this current crop of players is just the foundation to get this thing started and turned over. And I just want, my whole point this whole episode was to just get Raider Nation to understand that this may be a slower process than what we thought, but the Raiders have got to stop, making flash pan decisions. Let's stick with these people. You got some absolute professionals with all kinds of winning experience up and down the sideline on both sides of the ball. So I just hope, regardless of what happens this year, that we can stick with them. If it goes bad this year, we got to suck it up. We got to get better. I think we have the leaders in the room for the first time in a long time. All the players respect. You see there's something that's different, right? It's something different from Gruden to McDaniels to this regime taking over. This camp definitely showed leadership.
What's different for the first time in a long time, guys? The Raiders general manager drafted the best player available, regardless of a position or need. Didn't reach for somebody or draft for need and pass up on what could be the best offensive weapon in the draft in Brock Bowers.
Facts.
So there's adults in the room. So I think the patience level that you're talking about, and practice patience, I think that's happening as we speak.
I hope so. If so, then I feel a lot better, about this whole situation than I have in the past when it comes down to the long game. I feel like this is the long game, and you have to start from somewhere. I know we feel like the Raiders keep starting over, but in this particular spot, they have the type of leaders, the type of leadership, and the type of leadership influence that can bleed into the players on the field. That can happen with this crop of players. A rookie coming in, like you think about the situation with Brock Bowers and JP. Like, they can start this thing and take it to a whole nother level. They can be the ones that say, hey, we came in at the beginning of this, what is now the Raiders are back. You know what I mean? So those are the things that I'm optimistic about. I'm a practice patience. And I'm just saying, for the rest of Raider Nation, y'all need to practice patience too.
I like that. Oh, wow. Okay. That was a good segment.
Hey, man, I'm trying.
We wanted to talk about roster cuts, but I actually want to talk about something else, right? We know roster cuts are coming. We're going to have ample opportunity to talk about that, especially when it does happen shortly after the 49ers preseason game, correct? You mentioned that AP he's a teacher. I want to know more about AP because I watch him on the headlines, I hear him in press conferences, but I've never actually got to watch him coach. I've never got to watch him interact in person live with the players, but you've mentioned a word that stuck with me, and it was teacher. Tell me more about AP. Like, what can I expect from him and things that I don't hear in the headlines?
Well, I think the players love him for a reason. I don't think it's just his personality. I think he has a understanding of who they are as people. And the reason why he has that understanding is because he's done it every instance of what it takes to be a part of the NFL and understand this as a business, as a league, and as a sport. He's coached from high school to college to the NFL. He did it after he played in the NFL. There has been a turn. That's what I was talking about earlier. This thing has turned around, like with social media being as powerful as it is, everybody has their own platform. Everybody looks at themselves as a brand. Everybody is so much more comfortable saying, no, I got a problem with this. This doesn't make me feel good, right? The players that and coaches that AP came from, they were not those kind of people. And they was the type that would cuss you out, yell at you, break you down to build you back up. It's the same stuff we came from, right? That is not today's player. I think AP understands that. Some of the other coaches that understand that, I feel, are too soft with it. I feel like AP walks the line correctly because he is interested in them as people. That makes you want to play for a person. You feel like you have a voice. You feel like they care about you. You're not just a piece of cattle, right? And the NFL for so many years, and you know, there's no knock to the Belichicks and the older coaches and the Sabins and all of them, but they out of here now, man. They out of here because they could not do, because they probably weren't in a position to do, and they probably were a bit too old to do what AP is doing right now. Let me come out of that generation. Let me use what I've learned from that generation. Let me come down to this generation and learn from them, right? And then expose them to the leadership that I was exposed to back when I was playing. You got to look at it, man. Like over time, like I would go as far to say we had so many more, you know, older male influential figures in our lives when we were the ages of these players right now. A lot of these kids, man, they've had to be the man of the house since they was in single digits, right? These type of, you know, that creates, good or bad, whatever you call it. I'm not knocking one way or the other, but it creates a different type of person that has to be handled in a different way. And I believe that AP does it well because he's been on every facet of this. He's even been on TV as an analyst.
Well,
so,
I also think that AP knows that he's one of 32. He's a head coach in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And he's a black man as a head coach, a person of color as a head coach in the NFL. That doesn't happen often. And it's happened more in recent years, but it hasn't happened a lot in the history of the NFL. So for me, I think he takes that into consideration. You know, and Squeeze, you said it right. You know, he walks the line. You got some coaches that may take it easy, and you got some hard-ass coaches that's still digging their ass like back in the day.
Right.
He does a good job of balancing the two, but he also, I think, he's instilling the toughness in them a different way than what we've seen, but it's going the same direction that we had when we were playing.
Right.
I just think that he understands, like you said, the modern player, and that's, you know, I commend Mark Davis for being brave enough to hire him.
Yeah.
Because everybody and their mama was going to go out there and say, hey, you know, go get Jim Harbaugh or this person. And Mark was like, you know what? Like, I'm gauging the locker room.
Yeah.
And he knows the Raider way. And you know what? I've gone these other directions. Let me go my own direction right now. Mark started paving his own way.
There it is.
And that was the hire of AP. He paved his own way. So I 100% commend Mark on the hire. And look, I asked AP this at the press conference, the ended mini camp about adaptation, about adapting. Why is he so successful at it? And he went back to his childhood.
Yeah.
And being able to adapt and going to college and being able, you know, going to junior college on Mount San Antonio, Mount Sac, you know, adapting in Walnut, and then going to Arizona, and then from there going, you know, to the NFL as an undrafted rookie with Washington, and then earning it and going to the Giants. Like, he has had to adapt in every facet, getting out of that, getting into TV, Long Beach Poly, Arizona State. He's
always surrounded by other great football men, though.
Absolutely.
From the time he got drafted.
Marvin Lewis with the
board.
Redskins, and then going to the Giants with Tom Coughlin.
Yes.
I mean, you look at he's always had some really good influences, and he's stayed true to who he was with his core beliefs. I respect that. That's why I have 100% faith in AP turning the Raiders around and making Raider Nation a very happy team for the long term.
Gotta have patience, man. Have patience with him. Give him the time. Just give him the time. We're gonna be all right.
I like that.
We're gonna be all right.
Raider Nation, we needed their energy. We needed their energy because I was definitely in my emotions for a while.
You and me both.
All right, guys, so that's all we have for this episode. But I want to check in with the guys because it's been a minute. I want to know what you guys are both up to.
Well, Friday night, my two teams will play each other once again at the Death Star. It'll be the Raiders and the 49ers. And I will be on the field, not shooting practice this time. I will be shooting the game itself. It's TQ Day in Las Vegas.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you.
Have fun. While he's doing that, being two-team Terry on the sidelines, which, hey, I'm all for. I'll be at Desert Pines High School for the FSM Prep Rally Game of the Week. Centennial, who's ranked number 4 in our poll, against number 8 Desert Pines. It's a good game. It could be one of those games that springboards one team and maybe knocks another down and maybe out the polls if they lose. We got 7 other games covered, so 14 games across the valley covered. Look, there's no better place for high school football than right here at Franchise Sports Media. Go to our high school football page, check it out. We got galleries of all the games that we shoot that gets loaded throughout the weekend, highlight packages, and the FSM Prep Rally, which airs Saturday mornings. So make sure you check it out, see the highlights, the scoreboard, see who our players of the game are.
Guys, shout out to our photographers. Wait, let's hear a little bit. Before we go, I have to hear about that because seeing it all over social media and really just bleeding what we bleed, right? We're bleeding red over here, okay? I want to know about the new photographers that we have and what's going into that because you guys are building a successful company and it was a foundation that had to be put down, right? But to see all the successful photographers all out on that specific night and everybody just joined hands together and got a lot of content.
It's all Trish, man. It's all Trish. Period. Point blank. Trish put together a great team. You know, she's one of the pillars of what we do. Our most important piece in this company when it really comes down to it. And you know, she's been able to kind of cast out her influence and find some really talented photographers. I'm so proud of them. I'm happy about just everybody's enthusiasm to work for the F, man. I'm proud to be a part of it.
We weren't saying that this weekend, though. All the work we did Saturday, Friday night through Monday, it was, man.
It's no joke, man. It's no joke. But I mean, the good thing about it is that as I'm sitting here pulling my beard hairs out, I'm reminded of the stories that I've heard about other successful companies and how they started. Right? The things that I've seen myself. You know, I'm not gonna say any names, but some really successful owners of a really successful company. I remember them sleeping on the floor in my manager's office. You know what I'm saying? And now they in a whole nother stratosphere. So, you know, you got to start from somewhere. It's a hard grind, man. We're trying to create something brand new for this city, and it's not going to be a quick turnaround. It's going to take work. But I am forever grateful to everybody that's helped us out, to the whole team. I love y'all to death. Trying to make us just a shit ton of money so I can just pay y'all. That's the whole play.
Man, like I like something that we started doing too. It's called Meet the Shooters, and you get a chance to see who shot the games. Alon still has the coldest pick. Alon Soul, my second favorite photographer in the squad.
Come on, man, he's a beast.
Him. You know, to see all the guys that are out there and the ladies, they do such a good job. And the thing that, like, for me, that is gratifying is, like, their work is getting seen and other people want them to come do stuff for them. And then the other thing is, like, the part that is frustrating is when a school like Cadence tries to talk to our photographers sideways and not even on their home field.
Man.
Thinking that, like, we're not a media company. So, Cadence, your principal ruined it for you guys. We're not shooting none of your games. It's the AD. My bad. Not even the principal. The AD ruined it for you guys. So, sorry, Cadence. We're not rocking with you guys.
The quarterback's name, man. We met you at Media Day at Allegiant Stadium, and we told you we was going to come shoot.
He's a cool kid.
Such a cool guy, man. You just kind of walked up to us like a professional, confident. We loved it. We had planned on coming to your school, but your AD played us. So y'all can talk to him about that because we've done absolutely nothing wrong to anybody in the Valley. We are here to shoot high school football to showcase the talent of the student athletes in the city of Las Vegas. That's our point. We do not make a dime for coming to your games and shooting them. All we want to do is showcase the talent that you have at your wonderful educational institution. That's it. We love high school football. We love the NIAA. We love Clark County School District. We are here to help you. We are your friends. Cadence, hopefully we'll see you next year. We won't see you this year.
Shout out to Cimarron's vice principal too.
Oh, yeah.
He did something. He hit us up, and I wish every school would do it. He sent an email to me after, because we have a group going. We have some snipers going to Cimarron to photograph to photo that game, and he's creating a pass that we laminate that gets us into all of their athletic events all year long.
Yes.
So it's just a blanket media pass. He said we could print out whatever we need to give to our photographers or to come shoot. That stuff is helpful. So if you're an AD or a VP of athletics and activities, I email you. We talk. If you're a coach and you're watching this, let them know. You do the same thing for us. Make it real simple. We'll pop up and show what we do every Friday night. If not,
you will see us at a basketball game this year. You'll see us at a volleyball game this year. They got a girls flag football team.
Yes, sir.
You'll see us there too. Much love to you.
Well, the beautiful thing is not a lot of media companies, if any, give high schoolers the opportunity to shine, right? You guys give them that platform. And the franchise does a great job at allowing the youth to be heard and also their work be seen at such a young age. Because a lot of people always want to focus at the top levels, but really it starts with the youth and then it comes up. So guys, that's all we have for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that share button, y'all. Share.
Yes, please.
We got some great content coming out. Trisha LaCoste is making the best videos, the best reels that you can catch on her Instagram, Trisha_LaCoste.
Yep.
Perfect. We out.
Live and direct from the new planet Earth, where pandemics are plenty, but the girls are still pretty in fashionable dresses. You know what I'm talking about.